Hey guys, welcome to Desert King's Falconry. Summer is almost over. Fall has pretty much begun. Now, here in Arizona, it is still about 105 degrees most days. We are seeing a couple days just right around that 100-degree mark, maybe at 98 degrees. And this Harris Hawk, which is a Soka, she's the one I've raised and trained, she is almost done with her molt, and we are starting to get into our busy season. So we are going to need her to be flying soon. So we are getting her started. Now, she isn't completely done with the molt. Thankfully, though, Harris Hawks do really, really well. Even if you're flying them during the molt, they still seem to molt all the feathers they need. While they might molt a little slower as you fly them, they will still eventually grow in all the feathers they need in order to fly. Pretty much the only feathers that are still coming in are a few flight feathers. Other than that, a tail feather or two is almost all the way in, and she is just about ready to go. Now, this is the first time I've held her in a few months, actually. So she hasn't been held at all for a while. And I just love that Harris Hawks, even after months of not handling them, they're still as chill as this. So today we are going to go over a few of the things that I do to get her ready for the season. So let's go ahead and start by getting her weight. So I've already started by reducing her weight already. So I've only been feeding her about every other day, and she's been getting a little bit smaller meals. Nothing too, crazy structured, but it helps lower her weight. So I want to see where she's at. So I want to get her weight today. She normally flies at about 900 grams. So let's see where she's at. All right. So we are still roughly 140 grams too heavy, but that's okay. It's actually a great place to start to see how she is doing. I've already felt her keel. The keel is a little bone that's kind of right on their chest. You can kind of feel how much muscle there is or how much fat there is, and I'm just barely starting to be able to feel that keel. Her highest weight is about 1,200 grams, so she's already lost at least 150 grams since we started slowly dropping her weight. So she's doing well so far. So this is the first exercise I tend to like to do with my Harris Hawk. Is we'll work from a bow perch, and I like this exercise. While it's not like too exhausting for the bird, all it really does is help me build trust with the bird. Helps them understand. It helps them understand that, hey, we're going to start playing games soon. I'm going to be calling you to the fist a lot soon, and that's how you're going to be getting your food. And if you don't, if you don't do those things, if you don't do the work, then you don't get fed. So I really like this game just because it's easy. I can get a lot of repetitions really early, and it just gets her used to the routine of working with me. So it's pretty simple. All we're pretty much doing are what we call in the falconry world are jump ups. And so I'm just going to ask her to jump up to the glove. She's going to get a little bite, and then I'm going to angle my glove back down and just put her right back down. So it's a pretty simple exercise, and she should do it. So let's see if she'll do it. Yep, see, perfectly. Now this bird is going to be starting her fourth season. So this will be her fourth winter where she will be working with me. See, she did it perfectly. Let's fix the leash just a little bit so it's not getting too tangled. Good girl. So this is her fourth season. So she's gone through several seasons. She's pretty much knows the drill. There we go. It also helps like really early fitness, vertical jumps. So it'll kind of help start putting her into shape the more I do these. I could increase the height if I've got a way to stand up on like a ledge or a balcony. I can toss tidbits to the floor and then ask her to jump back up onto the glove. There's lots of ways that I could do this. I just like developing the relationship this way first. It also lets me know kind of where she's at. Like maybe I could free fly her at a higher weight. Last year I was free flying her at like 900 grams. This year maybe I could free fly her at 1,000, 50 grams. I want to be able to see where that's at. Maybe I could even free fly her now, but she would be really, really slow to respond. And that's okay if it takes a little bit of time to respond, especially during the early season. Normally, we're not in a big rush. Let's go down here. Good girl. Now, what I'm normally doing, today I'm feeding her a rabbit leg that my goshawk caught last season. So in order to kind of get this giant piece of meat out of my hand without her freaking out, is I'll cover it with my palm, and she'll take a bite. Come on, take a little bite. There you go. And as she's taking that bite, I'll just roll my wrist away so that my wrist then covers all the meat. So you can see I have all the meat right there, but she can't see it. So that way I can use just one solid piece, and I don't ever have to cut up tidbits when it comes to a Harris hawk, which is really, really convenient. Yeah, good girl. So this is, I've got a bit of a bias. This is my favorite bird to use in the company just because I'm the one who trained her and raised her. We had a lot of really good first season. We got a lot of wonderful memories in our first season, as well as doing abatement together. So I've kind of personally bonded with this bird a lot, and I love her so much, and she works so well. One of the things too with her that I just love is once she gets going for the season, I can pretty much have anybody fly her. Oh, see, she's starting to get distracted, which is pretty common for a chubbier bird. It's pretty common for a chubbier me too. I don't want to work nearly as hard. Come on. There we go. So what's cool is I can pretty much give anybody the glove. If we go on a hunt for rabbits or something, I can pretty much give anybody the glove, and then whoever has the glove, whoever has the tidbits, Ahsoka realizes they're in charge. So she'll follow the person with the glove, she'll come to the person who's holding the glove, and as long as the person who's flying her is rewarding her in similar enough of a way that I do, then she's going to follow that person totally fine. So it's really fun to be able to give kind of to give people who want to see a bird fly, to give them a better falconry experience just by kind of allowing them to lead the hunt, which is really fun. So we'll kind of let you enjoy the rest of this. I'm probably going to put this in fast forward so that you can just kind of watch the rest of the session. All right, so you can see she's even heating up a little bit now, and she's not even really that interested in the meat. She's kind of tired herself out already. This is also why doing these exercises are important, to kind of gauge where her fitness level is at. It helps me gauge how hungry she is. So I think if I took her out and free flew her now, we might get a few good recalls back, but then she would stop after about 3 or 4 bites, and it would be difficult to get her back. So I don't think she's quite hungry enough or quite a low enough weight to safely free fly her so that we can be efficient and I can get her back really quick. So now that she's kind of calmed down a little bit, she's eating, but I'll let her have the rest of this for today, and then she will have just a really small meal tomorrow. Some falconers might say she's ready to free fly, and probably in some situations we could take her out and free fly her. But we are in urban environments. I just want her to be a little bit more focused, a little bit more tight. That way we can make sure that we don't accidentally lose her, or she doesn't do anything silly or unpredictable. Once they're at a good weight, it helps them remain really focused on what you're doing. I want to make sure that she is at that weight before we start, because I don't want her accidentally getting into trouble when she should be working. A few other things that I do like to do before we prepare is I check all their equipment. I make sure that they have their backpack on for their telemetry. You can check out a whole video that we did on that. I'll put a link in the description. Also, I will just check and make sure that their Anklets are all greased up, that they're not stiff. I'll make sure that those jesses that they have on are also not stiff and still look good. Or if they look frayed or like they're falling apart, I will braid a new set or replace the anklets altogether. But they are looking good this season, so we'll probably be able to just use this equipment for this season again before we have to replace it. A lot of times these braided jesses and the leather anklets will last 3 years before we have to replace them. Unless there's something weird that happens. But 3 years is pretty normal so long as we are regularly conditioning the leather. Well, I'm just getting hot out here being in the garage. It is already about 100 degrees and it's almost 10 a.m. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys want to see more of Ahsoka, make sure you follow our page, view all the rest of our videos. We have a lot of content with Ahsoka and with Luca. So check us out. Can't wait to see you there, and we'll see you next time.